Blah, y'all already know what it is. Your boy Yaakov, what it do? The outlet to reality, the holdest podcast in Vegas and Chicago. What up? This is the place where you want to hide from your drama or maybe hide from your baby mama. Aha, just kidding. Y si tú quieres cambiar tu vida, if you want to change your life, then subscribe. Ching. And by the way, guys, I have a book out on Amazon called Shabbat in Chicago. It's about an audacious single mom who opens her heart and home to 5 adopted kids while embracing her Latino culture while being Jewish. And if you want to see my documentary based on my book, it's called Shabbat in the Shy. And also my audiobook for the first time is out on YouTube. So please check it out. And today we have a very special guest who is not only one of the biggest authors in Chicago, she's a good friend. And I'm so happy to have her back on the show, the one and only Michelle. Woo!
Hello, hello. Thank you for having me today.
Of course, of course. I didn't want to wake up the neighbors, but I was like, I gotta bring her back. You know what I'm saying? So look, I want to share a little something, for the audience who don't know. So a beautiful thing, I had my first book event at a synagogue, at one of the oldest synagogues in Chicago in the South Side. And Michelle, who's a good friend of mine, this is our second time actually meeting, right, in person. And it was a beautiful moment. We got to light the menorah, celebrate Hanukkah for the first time for those who never experienced it. And it was amazing time. We had food. It was my first live stream. And I got to share my book. And I was so happy Michelle got there early. And we were talking about Dolly. Shout out to her, our publisher. And we were saying how we missed her. So it was a beautiful thing. I was so happy, to do it. And Bessie, what can you tell me about that experience? Because I'm so happy you came, by the way.
Thank you. So it was definitely, it was different. It was my first time in the temple, and I had never experienced anything from Hanukkah. Just, whatever it is that school might expose us to, which is very minimal, right? So yeah, it was different. It was really nice. I did not know anyone else except for you there. So when I walked in, it was so nice to have like such a warm feeling, right? Everyone was so welcoming. Again, strangers to me, right? I'm like, well, they have to be nice because they're related to you or they're your friends or something. But no, it was absolutely beautiful. I would totally do it again.
Wow. Thank you, Bessie. That meant a lot. And I also want to say, right, this is a big year, 2026. We're super excited. Bessie, what have you done different, right? You as a writer, what has been the new thing that you've been, growing as a person? If you could share, maybe spill the beans, maybe not the cheese, but we'll appreciate that.
Yeah, so things that I've done differently for writing this year. I feel that we are living in a very chaotic time, right? It's very crazy. It's very intense in the various aspects for our families, our Latino families, our immigrant families. And my family is part of that, right? And so one thing I've been doing, I've been practicing very much is setting my boundaries and setting the space and carving out the time for me to be able to sit down with my laptop, my headphones, and just connect with myself. I feel like we're always like of service to people, so we're always doing things here, doing things there, but I'm being very intentional with doing things that I like and things that like nourish my own soul. And that's really what I've been practicing. It fluctuates every time, but I'm doing my best to like default to that. And so far, I mean, it's been good. I think that's what I focused on last year in 2025. And so this year, I'm trickling in that energy, keeping it from last year, and doing things that I thought I couldn't do, or maybe that I still doubt sometimes, right? And I think we have that ingrained, like, what's the word? Just self-doubt. And so it's an ongoing battle, but it's one I think I'm winning. I would like to think that. So we'll see how or what other things come to me, right? or other spaces I can participate in as a result of that, though.
I love that. I love that. And how do you feel, right? Being an author, right? Being Latina,
Mhm.
how do you handle like if people are not gonna like your writing, if people are gonna, you know, when you put something out to your universe, right? Whether it be your book, whether it be a poem, whatever it may be, how do you not let it get to you? What's your secret?
My secret is to tell me that I don't care. So when I think about, and huge just appreciation to my friend Denise, she was the first one that motivated me to publish my actual work. And so one thing that she always told me, she's also connected to Dali, and so one of the things that she told me is, she's like, but amiga, like, who are you writing for? Are you writing for other people? Or are you writing for yourself? And I'm like, whoa, mic drop. So I'm absolutely like writing. When I write for myself. It's my own, right? It's my own writing. It's how I think, how I process. You get to delete, to scratch out, toss away, and start over. And so I think it's very much a me thing. And then if it impacts anyone else, then that's already, more than enough. And yeah, I've gotten constructive feedback already. I've gotten like, oh, you should have used other words, or instead of this or that, or I could have read better. But thank you. Like, I'll receive it. Thank you. But that's, I mean, at this point, my books are published, so I don't know if you can edit afterwards. But again, like, it's never going to be perfect, and I feel like there's always going to be a different way of saying the things. But what is pure to it is how I said it in the moment. That's, I think, what's like what was like it in its most organic self, and how much more unique can it be.
Wow, that's beautiful. And real quick, why do you think so many young people want validation? Why do you think they need people's approval to even post a video, even to write something, right? Why do you think we depend on that so much?
I mean, speaking for myself, right? You said young people. I'm 31, so I would like to think I'm still young, young and fresh. But I think, like, being a woman, and then being a woman of like Latino backgrounds. My dad is from Mexico. My mom is from El Salvador. So I feel like as a culture, we have these things ingrained in us, right? Where we always like had to be subtle, and you can't call too much attention to yourself, and you just have to kind of blend in. And so I think that's something that's so like unconsciously ingrained in ourselves at this point, that it's kind of inevitable until you become fully conscious of it, and then you're working to like undo that and relearn. So yeah, I think it comes again back from like our culture or roots, and it's something that will continue until you choose to stop that cycle. And so that's really what I've been trying to do. Just stop it. Like, it ends here, right? Um, in hopes that those that come after me, those that are walking alongside me, are able to also break out, right, or break free from that, which is actually why my first book is called Liberate. So it's kind of how everything, you are going to free yourself, because no one is going to do that for you. And no, it's no one's responsibility to do it for you, but our own. It's our own life. So.
That's deep. That's deep. I like that. Now, something I learned today, right? You're gonna love this. I'm reading this book called something Spark of Genius. I'm probably missing a couple words, but it's a thick book, and I read it
Okay.
in college. I'm rereading it, and it talks a lot about intuition.
Mm-hmm.
How intuition is so important because a lot of inventors, they mention the book, even Einstein, they have this vision of what they picture this idea. They can't explain it with words. They can't explain with numbers. They just know the product. It's like this is it. Even people that are authors too, or people that want to be writers, they have the same idea where they feel it in their gut and they
Right.
listen to it and they make it happen. Was there a time you can think of where whether it be relationship, whether it be in life, where you listen to that gut feeling, that intuition, where you know it's right. Like I gotta do it. Like I don't
Yeah.
know why. Can you share like a moment? Do you remember a moment?
I think seeing it, it's a feeling, right? And there's like the universe will put different like instances in front of you where you're like, this is the universe literally talking to me right here, right now. And so actually I'm a huge fan of Jane the Virgin. And when the moment I decided to sign my first contract with Dolly, I was watching that episode where she was submitting her manuscript to like the publisher, right? And I'm like, well, if she could do it, why can't I? And so literally I like, because I was debating and I was watching like the show and everything, and I'm like, can I do this? Should I do this? Right? Is it worth it or not? Is it worth it? Is what I have written down in a Word document, is this sufficient or worthy of being published? And then when I saw that episode that she signed, she submitted it for it to move forward. I'm like, how much more clear do I want it? Like, she's telling me to do it. So I don't know her. I wish I would meet her at some point in my life. But yeah, no, I think like that was absolutely the first. That was the first moments where when I decided to sign it. That and the level of support. Honestly, like I started this the first time I signed my contract. I had zero funds, and if you read the book, you will know why. So just a sneak peek. I had filed a Chapter 7 bankruptcy, early mid 20s, and like I was working 2-3 jobs. I had no extra money to do this, and so I did reach out to friends. I'm like, hey, I'm looking for a sponsor, right? I'll pay back and everything. And one of my mentors, who I'm still very much connected to him now, he's like, I'll sell you the loan. I'm like everything. Like he just facilitated everything. And I'm like, I cannot not do this when there's people that will support. Like it just everything aligned. And I think that's one of the things I've learned, that when you want something, just speak it, right? Speak it, say it, share it, and then that's why I think it's so important who you surround yourself with and the energies that people share with you, because through that is how I was able to just have things like have the whole project be accessible. And I've been so I don't know another word. Blessed, really, I think is the best word in having that throughout my contracts. People have been more than willing to work with me, and payment plans and budget plans and everything. And when I see the end result, and when I see community coming to me and saying like, we need to read things like this, I'm like, it's worth it, right? It's absolutely worth it.
Wow, that's beautiful, Bessie. Look, man, you just shocked me. You shocked me
That
for real.
was a long answer.
Yeah, that was amazing. I'm like lost of words, but one of my last questions, right? What can we see? Any further projects we should expect on the way? Any goals you have that you could share with your audience?
Yes. So in July 2025, I established my LLC. So it's called Tejiendo Voices. So like weaving voices. It's Spanglish, of course. And so through that, I'm really focusing to enhance communication, not just through my writing and reading, but through other things like translations and interpretations, right? So I do hope in the long run to translate the different chapters of the anthologies that I participate in, that I'm a co-author for. I want to translate those into Spanish, because right now it's only reaching half the audience, right? And like, we know our community, we know our families, and sometimes Spanish is what's preferred. So that's something I am starting to like think about and like figure out how to do that. Also, I am planning in that same like spirit of making things accessible. I wanted to reach more libraries, right? It's currently in my local library here in Cicero, and some in Berwyn, Forest Park, I believe, and a couple of other libraries, but I wanted to reach more. And again, like having these conversations, genuine, intentional, pure conversations, vulnerable conversations, because that's where shifts happen, right? Connecting not with Michelle as like the author, but Michelle as a person, and as a Latina mujer, and as someone that's ending these cycles. That and actually one of the other chapters I have is in the book called Moms Rise and Thrive. So in that chapter, I do share about that balance of being a working professional mom, so motherhood, and then being a professional woman, and that in itself is a whole other identity of navigating all the calendars and all the things to do. You're always on the go. It's a lifestyle, right? But I feel like people sometimes can say, well, you're either a mom and you sacrifice your whole life and your goals and your wants, right, for your family. But for me, that's not being fulfilled. And for my family to be fulfilled, for my child to be fulfilled, he needs to have a mom that's fully fulfilled and content and doing, like, living her best life, right? So that was my goal in this chapter, and I absolutely think it's one of the most. I think they're also pure, not just because I wrote them, because they all have so much meaning, right? They're like it's literally like Michelle in her brain, but like on paper. So yeah, like I write for myself, and then it reaches who it reaches. So it's very vulnerable, honestly, but I decided to publish, and now it's everywhere.
Wow. I love it. I love it, Bessie. Well, look, it's an honor, like I said, to have you on the show. It means so much, and I can't wait for your next projects. I know you're making big moves, so this is huge. And like I said, you're inspiring, for our Latinos to rise and shine. I know we're all, when we get together, I feel like we can grow together, build our community. And like I said, guys, this is the Outlet to Reality, the holdest podcast in Vegas and Chicago every Tuesday. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Ching! Y'all know where to find me. I'm on Instagram, YouTube, Spotify, the Outlet to Reality. My Snapchat's Take One Pass It. And my TikTok is at Yaakov28. And Michelle, where can my fans find you?
So I do have websites. It's called, you can actually just Google my name, Michelle Ramirez, and Healing and Heritage, and it'll come up. I'll send you the direct links, but I'm also on Instagram under Michelle_Writes, and TikTok as well. So I'll send you all the direct links so it could be more just easily to click on.